Hello everyone. It's been quite a few months since I have recorded a video. Some of you might remember that I was pregnant, so I had my baby in July, and that is one of the reasons why I haven't been making videos, because I have been enjoying my time with my son. So we ended up having a boy, and in the last few weeks I worked on a project that I was really excited to work on. It's actually a physical printout of my creativity journal, which I have mentioned before and shared videos about. I will link those in the description box so you can see them. So I already had the file created since last year, and I remember wanting to print out for myself a physical year-long journal, but I always put it off. And now I had time and energy and inspiration to do it, so I went ahead and did that, and I am making it available for pre-order for people who also want to have their own. So these are the proofs that I ordered from Lulu. I ordered 2 different sizes, and basically this is what this video will be about, just talking about the journals. And I think just for ease of video visuals, I'm going to flip through the 8.5 by 11 inches journal. So I have 2 sizes available as options for pre-order. It's a year-long journal, so you can tell that it's a pretty big journal. It's very hefty, and I was a little disappointed that the binding from Lulu is not the best. It could be because of how big it is, but Lulu is the most economical printing option for me right now, since I'm doing a print on demand for this. So as I mentioned, this is a US letter size. The other option I'm making available is the US trade size, which is 7 inches by 9 inches. And then I chose different color paper types so I could see which one I liked best. And so this is a cream color, and then there's also the option to have a white color. I feel like I like the cream color better, like it's not so harsh on the eyes. So I'll do a quick flip through. So if you remember from my creativity journal, it was a monthly printable that I was making available through my Etsy shop. So it's that plus yearly, some yearly pages and different spreads for each month. So basically this is the cover. This is the back. It's very simple. This is like the first printout that I do. I know it will grow in the future if I continue to do it. And I apologize if it's kind of there's a lot of little dust here on my desk. So this is the cover. I chose the glossy cover. And this is the inside of the page of the journal. There's a spot for you to write a letter to yourself for the beginning of the year, a page for you to write down your creative intentions for 2023. So this is a journal that will really help you focus on nurturing your creativity and your spiritual practices. That is how I used it, and that is my intention for putting it out into the world. So there's also a page for you to create a vision board for yourself. This can be collage or drawing or writing as well. There's a page with a suggested layout for a sacred space or a sacred ritual, with a quote about how creating sacred space as you're about to embark on your creative practices really helps you tune into a different kind of mindset, separate from the mundane, everyday mindset that you might find yourself in. So let's see. So here we have, after those yearly pages, there's the monthly pages. So we start with January, There's a spot for you to write down the new moon information, what sign it's in, the date it's happening, as well as for the full moon. Every month comes with some space for you to write your creative intentions for that month. There's also this little box for you to write down important astrological transits that you're tracking for yourself in your natal chart, or just like eclipses that are coming up, things that you, if you're interested in astrology, things that you hear about on Instagram, you could write those down as things that you want to look into. There's a lot of white space and lines for you to just use as a place to take notes, expand more on your intentions. Every month we'll have the communing with the muse page. So this is where, if you read cards, you could pull some cards and get a message from the muse, as pull some additional cards about how to take creative action this month, with space to write down your observations. This is the January spread for choosing your seeds. So there's different prompts to guide you. You could use cards, but you could also just use your own like reflections on the questions, like what seeds does my soul want to plant in my life this year? What resources do I have available for these seeds? And what areas of my life do I need to pay attention to ensure a good harvest? There's also a space for you to keep track of the different allies and symbols that you might be working with. You can write down like crystals that you're working with, if you're connecting with a plant, an animal, other allies. And for these ones, you can just allow some of these things to come into your life. Like, you maybe, if you're not somebody who has like a lot of crystals or usually works with plants or animals, maybe throughout the month there's a plant that just happens to come into your life. Like, you hear about it, you see it somewhere, you can take that as a sign that that plant is coming into your awareness for you to learn more about it. And you can learn the medicinal uses of the plant, you can learn the magical uses of the plant, how people used it back in the day. The same thing with animals. Then there's space for you to write your personal, I call this my personal library of symbols. And this space is really for you to keep track of the symbols and images that are coming into your life, so that you can have a dedicated space to keep track of them. And then you can refer back to them month to month. You can explore those symbols more throughout the month. You can choose to do whatever you want with those symbols. Learn about them, draw them, incorporate them into your creative and spiritual practices. Let's see, am I still in the frame? Each month there's also a daily tracker page. This is a page for you to either track habits, or every day that you do a creative practice. So it's like a tracker. You could track whatever you want, but originally it was a daily creative action tracker. So you could give yourself like color it, or draw something, or doodle something, or write a word in each day to represent whether you accomplish something that you were setting out to do. There's also these 2 pages to work with the moon. I call them a moon cycle phenology wheel. And what a phenology wheel is, a circle where you are observing natural phenomena. And you observe it, you could observe it like in the moon cycle, like here, but you could also observe it seasonally. So this is a like a 28-day phenology wheel. You could choose to observe a plant or an animal that you see often in your environment, or you could also track your moods, track how your creativity is doing in the different spaces. So basically this is space to express yourself creatively. You can draw, you can write things, you can paste things, and I would encourage you to check in at every phase of the moon in that month. There's also this page to write down notes about the new moon and the different phases, just things that you might want to remember. So curiosity is really important to me, and I think it's really important in our spiritual and our creative paths. So there's a page for you to make a list of different things that you're curious about, things you want to learn about, something that maybe you heard somewhere and you want to get back to it. You can make a list here, write down some observations that can be follow-ups on things that you were curious about if you went back and read a book or read an article, watched a video about whatever you were interested in. And there's extra space here. There's also this page for you to do a self-portrait each month, and it can be a picture. You can just take a picture of yourself and paste it. It can be a creative interpretation of a self-portrait. You could draw yourself with your non-dominant hand, make a collage, paint, anything you want. There's also this page for a gratitude practice. And so the journal itself is like a container for you to do whatever you want in the pages, right? So your gratitude practice could be writing down something that you're grateful for each day, each week, writing a whole page of gratitude once a month, putting in pictures of things that you're grateful for. You can really choose to do anything with it, but it's just developing the practice. I also have this page for writing down fabulous lists of things to do when you feel stuck. And this can be just something that when you're feeling good, you write down different things that you enjoy that can lift your mood, so that when you're feeling stuck or feeling down or feeling overwhelmed, you can come back to the list and maybe pick a few things that you want to engage in. And then there's this space here for you to reflect on whether you did any of these things. If there's new things that you discovered, each month there's a space for you to make a list. Then there's this page called the Dream Repository, where you can write down dreams that you've had. They can be like written, or you can draw, doodle, anything to connect with your dreams. And then there's extra space for that. I think dreams are really, I'm interested in dreams, so that's why I made that page to have space for that. I also think it's really important to have space to write down your ideas. So there's this page for new ideas that you get. They can be like in list form or text, doodles. There's also this page for psychic observations. And this page, some people maybe are not looking to develop their psychic gifts, but I believe that we all have that extra sense. And we all experience moments when we feel connected to something greater than ourselves. So that's something that you can keep track of here. There's a space for you to be in abundance. So it's abundance space. One way I have used this before is I have made notes of all the different ways that abundance has shown up in my life. That can be like monetary abundance, but also think about the different ways that abundance shows up in your life. Maybe even start with describing what abundance means to you, and draw a picture or with words or images of what living an abundant life means to you. Then there's this page that is meant for you to write down notes about things that you're reading, watching, listening, and experiencing. And you can choose each of the shapes for each of the different categories. And I usually just write in, like if I choose reading for the circle, I'll just write down the books I'm reading or any articles that were meaningful, and the same for the other shapes. Then there's weekly check-in pages, one per week. You can write the date. There's 3 basic questions to check in with extra space for you to check in. And at the end of the month, there's space for a creative interpretation of the month, as well as the end of the month reflections. So that's the month of February. And then, that was the month of January, and then February starts on the next page. So what I think I would do is I would add tabs to the different months. That's something that you can personalize the journal once you receive it. So it has all 12 months, different spreads for each month. The standard pages stay the same. Then at the end of the year, there's a place for you to write down a letter to yourself again. You can read the letter that you wrote to yourself at the beginning of the year. Then a page for you to reflect on how the year went, whether your intentions came to bear fruit. And then there's this page here at the end. There's this page here at the end where you can draw, I call them sigils, but they're really just a symbol to close the journal. This is the smaller size, which I actually like a little better. I think it's more manageable. You could bring it with you. It's still pretty hefty. I like the cream color paper actually because it's not as painful on the eyes. I don't know, my eyes must be tired. So I'll just flip through the pages so you can kind of get an idea of how it looks. It does have the same pages as the larger journal. So this is the Creativity Journal, and it is available to pre-order on my Etsy store. I will put a link to it. So thank you so much for tuning in to learn about my new journal that I am offering. And if you have any questions, please put them down in the comments. Thank you.